Tensura What If? Silver Timeline by CBCTEBAS Chapter 82 End of Memory. Huh? I can still feel myself. Am I dead? Negative? Oh, that's good at least. I wonder where I am right now though. I can't move. I can't even use magic sense. How am I even alive? After a long process, I managed to revive Master. Oh, thanks, great sage. You saw? Wait a minute. Revive? Me? So I did die? Wait, thanks, great sage, sorry for panicking. No problem, Master. Master, huh? You seem more fluent in talking, don't you, great sage? I have actually evolved into the ultimate skill, Raphael, Lord of Wisdom. Ultimate skill? Wow, you must have become really smart to have the name of an angel, Lord of Wisdom. I guess that's how you managed to revive me. Yes, with all of the chaos and remains of both souls and corpses in the surroundings, I managed to evolve Master into a demon lord. More specifically, a true demon lord like Demon Lord Milam, and not like Demon Lord Carrion, who is a demon lord seed. Oh, I evolved into a demon lord? Maybe this time I won't have a hard time fighting the Emp? The Empire, are they, Tempest, safe? What happened after I died, Raphael-san? Unfortunately, I was unable to sense the surroundings for the first few days. By then, the land was quiet and filled merely with corpses that I consumed using gluttony. It took a while but eventually, I managed to move. Activating magic sense, or as Raphael-sensei calls it, universal sense, I saw a post-battlefield landscape. It was different. Instead of explosion marks and craters, the area was littered with glass fragments, as if lightning had struck continuously. The storm dragon Veldora died with Master and revived at the spot where Master died. It seems Veldora went on a rampage against the Empire's army due to your death. Taking on my human form, I knelt down and held one of the glass fragments. So Veldora got angry for me. That kinda makes me happy, I said with a small smile. Then I turned toward where Tempest should be. Let's hope. Using transport magic, I managed to go directly to Tempest, or what it used to be. The place was ruined. The buildings, the roads, everything was destroyed. Raphael-sensei, any survivors? No life signs detected. However, most corpses consist of Empire soldiers, Tempest soldiers, and some Western soldiers. It can be concluded that the Tempest army was retreating from the area. The Western corpses appear more recent, suggesting the Western nations moved forward to fight the East after Tempest fell. I see. The death of my people. I'd already seen many of them die on the battlefield, but it still hurt to see them lying there, especially when I knew they were retreating. The direction seems to be Eurazania. Let's visit Carrion later. As I contemplated this, I strolled through the wrecked streets of Tempest. Barely any buildings or structures were standing. I remembered where each building stood, where the stalls were, and where the posts were. Everything. My magicule seemed to be leaking, but it was not a problem. There were no living beings in the area. Even if my magicule spread across the entire Tempest area, no further damage would be done. When I reached the very middle of the city, I sat down on the ground. Hey, Raphael-sensei. Can I use gluttony to devour everything here? I asked as I patted the ground. Yes, Master has the capability to consume everything. Black smoke began to pour from my palm, increasing in volume and spreading to the surroundings. It was a surreal sight, like everything was falling into quicksand, slowly sinking into the ground never to be seen again. I did this not only for sentimental value but also to find some useful skills among the corpses. Even if the souls were gone, there should still be some value in these bodies. Who cares about desecration? I need to become stronger to protect the survivors. Confirmed. Unique skill. Merciless. Acquired. Unique skill. Merciless integrated into the unique skill. Gluttony, evolving into the ultimate skill. Belzebuth, Lord of Gluttony. Thanks, Raphael-san. Of course. Due to the accumulation of abilities and skills that could be harvested from the corpses of both allies and enemies, Master has acquired an array of new skills. Using the data from analyzing unlimited imprisonment as a base, it is possible to create a new ultimate skill. Do you want to take this action? Yes, no? Yes. Acknowledged. The skill modification and process will take 300 seconds in real-world time. Please wait for successful creation. As I waited patiently for Raphael's words, I watched as the devouring black smoke finished its task. It all returned to me, as if I had sucked in all the smoke back into my palm. What was left of the scenery was a barren land. The city of Tempest was no more, leaving only empty ground. Not even grass or insects were spared from being devoured. Next stop would be Eurazania, I muttered as I stood up. Then I felt a large amount of magicule nearby. This feeling. Chloe? Chloe, I sensed Chloe fighting nearby. I took to the sky and looked for her with my universal sense. I saw her several kilometers away, near Falmouth but not yet the border. It seemed the war continued even now. Empire soldiers, not those in tanks, were firing their guns at the United Soldiers of the West. It seemed like they had adapted and used steel that could at least repel the Empire's bullets. Though they were still at a disadvantage, seeing as they used swords and bows. Right in the middle of the battle, a girl, a young woman, could be seen slicing and killing soldiers indiscriminately. It seemed like she was surrounded by multiple enemies, one of whom looked like one of the otherworlders that attacked us in the past. Chloe, I shouted with glee. She turned to me with the mask I gave her covering her face. I didn't know what expression she had, but she stopped all hostilities and flew toward me. Ah, it's good to see her safe. Danger, bloodlust detected, evade. What? I did as Raphael-sensei said and moved to the side, dodging Chloe's slash through the space where I had just been. Hey Chloe, it's me. Rimuru, sensei. Rimuru-san here. I pointed to myself in panic. Was my death that hard for her? Is she in denial? Why is she still attacking me? Analysis shows that the individual Chloe is in a frenzied state. Caution and retreat are advisable due to a lack of power. Even as a demon lord, what happened to Chloe to make her this strong? As I said this, I kept dodging her slashes as best I could. Though my best was a lot weaker than Chloe, the injuries piling up were proof of that. I'm going to die. Raphael-sensei. Permission to use auto battle mode, yes no? Yes, please. Save me, sensei. As Raphael took control of my body, we flew up, straight into the sky. Raphael seemed to be looking for something. Then, barely stalling Chloe, we fired a large ball of flame in a certain direction, forcing others to follow the attack's destination. Unfortunately for the onlookers, the target of the attack was far away, but not far enough to be unseen by Chloe. As soon as she turned her head and looked in that direction, she flew away. We were safe. Raphael, with an emotionless expression, started to fly towards Eurazania. Midway, we switched places, and I was back in control. That was amazing, Raphael-san. What did you do? I asked with admiration. Using an attack as bait to force Chloe to change targets had helped us survive another day. After making multiple plans and deductions, it seemed the individual Chloe desires to fight strong beings. The safest option was to direct her attention to someone stronger than Master at the moment. I see, I held my chin, mulling over the information. Chloe is really going on a rampage, and I know for a fact that she is stronger than me. By the way, who did you set her up for? I sensed a true dragon aura nearby, south of Falmouth. True dragon. Hey, that's too much, Raphael-sensei. We need to help Chloe, I said, halting mid-air to turn back for my student. That won't be necessary. The individual Chloe is comparable in strength to a true dragon and has the instincts to escape if its life is threatened. Furthermore, Master would only be fodder, huh? I clicked my tongue. I don't like it. I'm not strong enough. I need to become stronger so I can help Chloe. I need to become stronger, understood. Arriving in Eurazania, I found Carrion talking with Albus. I dropped down, making sure they noticed me. Hey, Carrion, I shouted, drawing everyone's attention. Rimuru, Carrion replied with relief, ordering someone who then went running somewhere. Is that Rimuru-sama? It is. Rimuru-sama is alive and well. Thank goodness. The information spread fast, and the surviving Tempest inhabitants began flooding the castle in Eurazania's capital. I smiled, seeing so many of them still alive. Of course, this was because they were the evacuated citizens sent here as refugees. But I could tell there were some Tempest soldiers mixed in, their faces showing relief and joy. Rimuru-sama. A pink-haired woman rushed toward me. It was Shuna, who came with the others. You guys are alive. I almost cried, if I could have. Here they were, my friends, my family, they're all safe. Kufufufu. I did as master ordered and made sure to keep them safe. An archdemon bowed near me as I looked at everyone. Ah, the archdemon I summoned, thanks for doing all of this. Kufufufu, there is no need for thanks, master. Though, if possible, I would request to continue serving you for all eternity. The demon kneeled in front of me. Huh? I turned to the others, they just gave me a shrug. I guess that's fine. Do you have a name? I tilted my head. From the strong aura he gave off, he wasn't fit to be labeled just an archdemon. Kufufufu, I am content to be a nameless demon. He bowed, content to finally be under my service. Still, you don't have a name, this strong, but no name? Just what kind of monster will he become after being named? Okay, in exchange for your loyalty, I'll give you the name Diablo. As I named him, I felt a bit more than half of my magicules leave my body. With such a boost in my overall magicules, this demon would become an unimaginable monster. The magicules took form and covered him like a cocoon. It looked like it would take a while for him to evolve, so I turned back to my friends. Everyone, it's good to see you all safe. I hugged them with great satisfaction, knowing they were alive and well. Where are the others? While most of them were here, a few notable ones weren't. Namely Gobta, Hakuro, Shion, Geld, and Gabble. Are they still out there? I bet Gobta is still getting his ass handed to him by Hakuro. I laughed. Geld needs to relax some more. Gabble probably has nothing to do since he isn't in the cave anymore, right? Shion. Well, as long as she's not in the kitchen, it's all good. Rimuru-sama. Shuna wanted to say something, but Benimaru stopped her. Rimuru-sama, they're dead. His words echoed in my head. Dead? Who's dead? Them. I mean, what does dead even mean? Dead. Rimuru, I felt a hand on my shoulder. It was Carrion, looking haggard and anxious. Calm down, he shouted with a sweat drop. I just realized that I was unconsciously leaking aura again. This can't become a habit. I sucked it all back, seeing my subordinates take a breath. Everyone was either on their knees or collapsed on the ground. Sorry, everyone, that's all I could voice out without my voice breaking. Gabble died from the airship. Diablo stated that he was already dead when he got there to help. Gobta and Hakuro died from a hidden Imperial Guard among the common soldiers. Shion and Geld wavered in their fights when they saw Rimuru-sama in danger, and the enemies took advantage of that. Benimaru explained each of their deaths. I didn't even know what to feel. Why couldn't I cry? This isn't fair. I needed an outlet for these intense emotions and, at the same time, calmness in my heart. Sucking it all in and closing these emotions deep in my heart, I took a deep breath. It's good to see you all safe, I said, walking toward the crowds of refugees in Eurazania. Thanks, Carrion, for letting them stay. No problem, Rimuru. You let my people stay in your country when I was in trouble, Carrion said, patting my back. I'm just glad you're alive. They said you died in battle, after all. Ahaha. I did. I began explaining what happened to them as we moved to a more formal setting. So, basically, you revived by evolving into a demon lord? Is that even possible? Carrion looked at me with disbelief. Well, I couldn't blame him, I didn't understand it well either. Something like that. Even I was unsure. I just parroted what Raphael-san told me. Can you all give me updates on what happened after I died, though? Then began a quick update on the goings-on in the world. It had only been 2 weeks since I died. In chronological order, these were the events they knew of. The storm dragon suddenly appeared and began wiping out the Eastern Empire army. Benimaru and Diablo used this as an opportunity to escape the enemy's grasp. For what they could tell, the Empire did something and managed to take down Veldora in a few hours in his rampage. They stated that they sensed another true dragon, but they couldn't be sure since the aura was small and hidden. Then Veldora died again, but this time he didn't revive instantaneously, he remained dead. It is speculated that he'll rest for now and revive himself after a few years. It seemed that Hinata was also killed in action during the fight with Veldora. They couldn't tell how she died, which was depressing. After everything was settled with Veldora, several things happened that made things worse on a global scale. A chaotic and frenzy murder machine, Chloe, was unleashed into the world. Milam declared war on the Empire, But which demon lord was it that stopped her? It seemed like this demon lord stopped her from avenging me, or so Carrion said. They fought, and eventually, Milim backed down due to exhaustion and is recuperating somewhere unknown to us. The Empire continued their march to the west, managing to still find some Tempest soldiers who were retreating to Eurazania, which was why there were so many corpses in Tempest. The West, after finding out that Tempest fell, immediately sent an army, resulting in a three-way battle inside the city. A bit away from Tempest, in the far west, Demon Lord de Gruel declared war on Lubelius. Isn't that where Hinata was? Turns out, there was also a Demon Lord hiding in that country, and they are currently at war with each other. All of that happened in the span of 2 weeks. The Empire versus the West, and the Demon Lord de Gruel versus Demon Lord Luminos are still ongoing as we speak right now. So many bad things happening. I groaned from my seat. I was only out for that long, and the world is already on the verge of destruction. And you're saying that the Empire is also thinking of attacking the Demon Lord territories? Yeah, Carrion confirmed. Clayman's old territory is already conquered, and my border is experiencing skirmishes with the Empire's soldiers. They seem to be focusing on the west, but it doesn't mean that they won't begin attacking us. That's why even now, I have most of my soldiers on the border of Tempest and Eurazania. I wish I knew where Milim is. I pinched the bridge of my nose, concerned about not knowing her whereabouts. Carrion, I'll help with fighting the Empire. I stood and looked at him with a serious expression. Rimuru-sama, we shall. No, they froze from my cold tone. This was the first time I outright rejected them with such a tone. My facial expression was probably different from my usual one. I bit my lip. I won't allow any of you to die, not with me here. I, alone, will fight the Empire. If you want to help, just do support work. Carrion, most of my subordinates are refugees and civilians. They'll just be a burden in battle. I explained, emphasizing that they were a burden and couldn't be of any help. Whether it was true or not didn't matter. What I said meant it was factual. Carrion maintained eye contact with me, probably assessing how serious I was. Sighing to himself, he just gave a nod to my words, thanks. No problem. You said you'd help us with the Empire anyway. A true Demon Lord is a welcome addition to our forces. Even I am weaker than you right now. He laughed as he patted my back. I swear that your people will not be harmed or in any way endangered as long as I live. He beat his chest as he swore. Rimuru-sama. Shuna looked at me with sadness. Do you really have to do all of this? We can still help you fight back. We can rebuild Tempest again together, and it would be like nothing, huh? It's fine, Shuna. I need something to clear my mind. I explained, making sure to keep my face as neutral as I could. To be honest, this is just me venting out my emotions, ha ha ha. I jested as I turned to the others. Make sure to follow my orders. I don't need any of you dying on me. They reluctantly nodded, with their eyes torn, fists clenched, and teeth grit. I flew away from Eurazania, more specifically to the border of Tempest and Eurazania. From what Carrion told me, the skirmishes had started to grow in frequency and the number of enemies. There, I muttered, seeing a small battle between less than 1,000 or so people clashing their forces. Taking out my sword, I dropped down and began killing the Empire's soldiers. The lycanthropes were first surprised by my appearance but began advancing upon seeing me take down enemies in great numbers. In less than 5 minutes, the battle was over. Rimuru-sama. I turned to see who it was, Phobia, who seemed to have heavy eye bags and was full of injuries and bandages. I took out a full potion and threw it at him, healing him immediately. Thank you. Why are you here? I thought you died? No time to explain. I am helping. Kill them all. With those words, I flew away and looked for other skirmishes along the borders. Raphael. There are a few camps that house about 2,000 to 3,000 enemy soldiers each. They are spread out around the borders of Eurazania, holding the area down to ensure nothing interferes with their advancement to the west. Give me a route for the most efficient way to take them all down. I then began flying to the nearest camp. Understood. Suggestion. Use original magic Megiddo. A magic that uses elemental magic to create water droplets shaped by water elements to create lenses that focus light into laser beams. This process is very energy efficient as the attack that Ends up striking the target itself uses no magicules. As we arrived at the first camp, I tried using Megiddo. It was fast and easy. Ha ha ha. They died just like that. They didn't even see me coming with the range of this magic. As expected of Raphael. Thank you very much. Suggestion. Devour the bodies and souls of the dead. I involuntarily voiced my curiosity. I was already preparing to move to the next camp after all. Why? Master desires to become stronger. I can add them to the ultimate skill. Uriel, which currently has infinite potential for growth. Since when did Uriel become this powerful? Well, no point in looking a gift horse in the mouth. I dropped down and activated Beelzebub on the soldiers below. Everything was sucked in, the bodies, souls, even the equipment were taken. Do we really need everything? Wouldn't the souls be enough? What do we even need the bodies and equipment for? They can be converted into magicules and used as vessels for future projects. Projects? Well, whatever you say, Raphael-sensei. In less than a day, all the Empire soldiers near Eurazania were eaten and gone. There were some familiar faces who were there before I died. Something about Imperial guards or whatever. They were caught off guard since I used Megiddo long before I even arrived at the scene. The only reason I got close was to eat them all. Legendary grade armor consumed, boosting Uriel's defense capabilities based on the samples. Successful acquisition of absolute barrier. Nice. So, to reiterate, I have 3 ultimate skills. Uriel, Beelzebub, and lastly you, Raphael. I don't really know, but shouldn't things with ultimate in their name, I don't know, not be easy to acquire? Well, as long as it's me, no complaints, I guess. I returned to Carrion and explained that I wiped out the soldiers, and then returned to the battlefield. I still need to help Chloe. I mean, with 3 ultimate skills, I should be able to save her, right? Well, isn't that ominous? Whatever, I can't just let my precious student be a murder machine that lusts for blood and fight. Returning to Falmouth, it seemed that the Empire had finally managed to conquer it. Empire soldiers were loitering in the capital, and some of the cities were either burned down, pillaged, or being used as bases for the next target. A bit away, I could sense Chloe and someone else fighting. A blue-haired voluptuous woman wearing something similar to a cheongsam of China? Taking out my sword, I obviously helped Chloe, or so it would have been if it weren't for the fact that Chloe started attacking me too. Who are you? The blue-haired woman glared, swinging her sword at me. Yikes. That sword is powerful. Too dangerous. My sword will break with just a contact. No problem. Imbuing absolute defense to Master's sword. Ah. Thanks, Raphael-sensei. Continuing the 3-way fight until dawn of the next day, it seemed like it would never end until one of us cooperated with the other. Whenever I got the upper hand on the blue-haired beauty, Chloe would attack me. And when Chloe was cornered, I saved her. Suggestion. Leave until one of the true dragons is weakened or off guard, then strike. It's a bit cruel to use Chloe like that, but, what, true dragon? She's a true dragon? But she's with the Empire? You're a true dragon? I asked as we exchanged clashes again. She frowned at me, clearly annoyed that I was even speaking to her. Indeed, I am the scorched dragon Velgrind. Velgrind-san, don't you know that your allies killed your brother Veldora? I asked with a genuine tone. If it were me, I'd help Veldora even if we were just technically sworn brothers, not even biological. HMPH, Veldora is still acting childish. He refused to listen to me and join our side. He even killed himself when we finally managed to control him. So, you knew, and you tried to control Veldora? Don't you feel anything about doing something like that to your brother? My sword was shaking, my body fuming with anger. Brother or not, if he can't be a part of Rudra's plan or side, then he's just a hindrance. It's good that he died, he won't get in the way. Hey Raphael, come up with a plan to defeat this woman. I want it right now. Understood. First step is commencing the plan to get my revenge for my friend Veldora. I continued our 3-way battle with a slight alteration from the previous exchange. I made sure that Velgrind was always in the middle of the fight, having to contend with both me and Chloe at the same time. Eventually, she's bound to make a mistake. And she did, letting her guard down around me. I used Beelzebub to suck a portion of her magicules, making her sluggish for a second, something Chloe didn't miss. She began giving Velgrund a barrage of slashes and piercing attacks that actually damaged the true dragon. As Velgrund tried to resist by parrying, blocking, or outright running away, I made sure to bring her back in place while slowly draining her magicules as well. When the time was right, I activated Ural's unlimited imprisonment. The weakened Velgrund couldn't do anything as she bashed and fired at the barrier. She even took her dragon form, but in her weakened state, she would need a few minutes to break it. And that's all I need, Raphael-sensei. Obviously, Chloe wouldn't just stop fighting because I trapped Velgrund. Even now, I am fighting her while maintaining the unlimited imprisonment. While I do this, Raphael was focusing on Velgrund. Using parallel processing, I was technically using 2, 3, counting Raphael, ultimate skills at the same time. Uriel was maintaining the unlimited imprisonment while helping me survive Chloe by using absolute barrier. Belzebuth was consuming the unlimited imprisonment where Velgrund was sealed. And Raphael was helping manage everything to maintain this state. Basically, the plan was to seal her inside me, similar to what I did with Veldora. But unlike with Veldora, the goal was to consume her entirely once the unlimited imprisonment was removed in my stomach. And so, in just a few seconds, Velgrund the Scorched Dragon disappeared. Okay, focus on Chloe next, I grinned. If I can take down a true dragon just like that, how hard would Chloe be? I take that back. What the hell, Chloe is so strong. She wasn't this strong when I went to war. I'm an idiot. Considering she's been fighting on even terms with a true dragon for 2 or 3 days now should have been a sign that she's strong. Like, unlimited imprisonment doesn't even work on her. She just takes it down as fast as I use it on her. It's basically just a waste of magicules to do. Our fight continued, without caring for where we might end up in our battle. Suggestion. Move further westward. Master can use it to his advantage in recovering the individual Chloe. West? Even further west is just the human countries. I can't just let Chloe loose in a densely populated area like that. Master, you are already near the capital of Ingrassia. We have passed through half the human countries. I froze for a moment with that revelation, broadening my senses, and realized we were fighting in human territory. It seemed that focusing on Chloe made me lose sight of the battlefield. Well, no point crying over spilt milk. Let's continue with the plan, casualties be damned. Understood. Approximately 70 kilometers west from here are Demon Lord Luminos and Demon Lord de Gruel. Huh? Even I had to voice my surprise. Wait, are you using the Demon Lords as bait for Chloe? Demon Lords are useful to keep the individual Chloe busy. The two may also unite to make sure she does not rampage needlessly. Furthermore, several powerful individuals are fighting nearby as well, speculated to be subordinates of the two Demon Lords. I really need to get used to Raphael-sensei's thought process. Finally arriving where the two Demon Lords were, I could see a blue-haired giant fighting a silver-haired girl. A swordsman giant fighting a human? Who's that blonde man? A champion? Or a hero? Then there was also a green-haired giant fighting what seemed like a common rider suit of armor. What kind of creature is that? Like an insect given a humanoid form or something. Seeing all of the battles below, Chloe turned and dashed towards the two Demon Lords. Looks like her target is the blue-haired giant. Chloe, shouted the silver-haired Demon Lord. Oh, she's a vampire. Considering Hinata works for Lubelios, is it safe to assume that she's good? As de Gruel changed focus to Chloe, I went beside Demon Lord Luminos. Are you Demon Lord Luminos? What is happening here? Rimuru. She turned to me. It was a bit disturbing that she knew my name. You tell me what is happening. Why is Chloe here? She shouted. Good, looks like she's worried for Chloe. I've been trying to bring her to her senses. She just keeps fighting and fighting. Do you know any way to bring her back to her senses? Huh? That's impossible. She's not the Chloe we both know. I saw her soul disappear after Hinata died, she stated with sorrow and anger. It seemed too genuine to be a trick. Then, I turned back to Chloe, who was trading blows with de Gruel. Isn't he too strong? He can keep up with Chloe. What do you call the Chloe in front of us? I really wanted an explanation. Are you saying Chloe is also dead? I shouted, my aura spreading. I said she disappeared, not dead. I don't know where she is, but that thing is similar to Chloe but not her. She clicked her tongue, seeing me get angry. Then can you help me? If I join your side here, help me find Chloe. She seemed distrustful of me. I mean, I wouldn't blame her. Let's do something to show our capabilities, Raphael-sensei. Analysis of Scorched Dragon completed. Reconstructing body into a true dragon possible. Yes, no? I did say let's show her our capabilities, but this is just a bit much? Anyway, that would be a yes, please. Understood. Reconstruction of Master's spiritual body confirmed. Further information. The acquisition of the ultimate skills Velgrund and Regule successful. The following skills are. After all of that, I spread out my aura, garnering everyone's attention. Demon Lord Luminos, Chloe and Hinata seem to be acquaintances of yours. In exchange for my cooperation here, help me bring back Chloe. With my words, I rushed towards the green-haired giant fighting that anthropomorphic insect. You dare get in my way? The giant roared as he used chains to try and bind me. As the chains latched onto me, I used Scorch magic to melt them all with the help of the ultimate skill Regule. And not even a blink of an eye later, my fist was coming out of his chest. Blood burst from his mouth as he angrily spouted curses at me. I used Beelzebub and devoured him whole, taking in his vast amount of magicules. The insect being took this as an opportunity to help the blonde human in his battle with the swordsman. I doubted I'd need to help them with how the battle was in their favor. The insect being tanked the full brunt of the sword attacks, and the blonde dealt the damage. Looking over the giant army, I saw 3 cloaked men and 2 vampires fighting a 4-armed giant. Even though they had the numbers, in terms of fighting prowess, they lacked in that department, with 3 cloaked corpses nearby proving my point. I decided to help them, or so it should have happened. Chloe was sent flying my way. Looking where she was before, Demon Lord de Gruel seemed to have thrown her to me to keep me occupied. He then rushed toward me. Hey, is he planning to gang up on me like what I did with Velgrund? Most likely. Possible plan of action. De Gruel was having a hard time. The simple invasion of Demon Lord Luminos territory with his brothers had grown out of proportion. 2 heroes, 1 insectar, and a true dragon were opposing him. His brother had already fallen, with his other one nearing his end as well. That's why he decided to use the unexpected enemy into his advantage. He finds Chloe curious, mindlessly attacking him. Though mindless seems to not fit, as she knows when to attack and when to guard, when a trap is in place or when to take advantage of an opportunity. I was now fighting Chloe, again. Luminos seems to be busy with helping her subordinate with the 4-armed giant. She should be able to kill the monster in a few minutes or less. Not really something to note, as Chloe and de Gruel are keeping me occupied. Hey, your name's de Gruel, right? Want to take her out together with me? I asked awkwardly. I mean, I did use Chloe to fight him. What are you getting at after getting in my way and in this war between me and Luminos? He seemed like a reasonable person. We would have been good friends. I have friends that are close with her. I can't just let you do as you please. Besides, this girl is also a friend of Luminos. Wouldn't taking her down lessen threats? Obviously I wasn't planning to kill Chloe. She should be smart enough to retreat when her life is in danger, I think. I don't have the attention span or strength to just force her down until she recovers. I need more strength, something that can make me more durable. De Gruel furrows his brows at me, looking for signs of deceit in my expression. Well, that's useless. My face is neutral if I say so. I have full control of my expression when I try. Fine. Well, isn't he enthusiastic about it? Perfect. I'll give you an opening and damage her as much as you can. Also make sure to send her flying in that direction. I pointed with my eyes to north from here. And so we began to wear down Chloe, who has been fighting non-stop from true dragons to demon lords. Signs of fatigue were there. Not physically, since she seems to have become a hero, but from magicule count. Parrying her strike with my sword, I activated Beelzebub to keep her on guard with me after seeing Velgrund weakened by this attack before. Not realizing de Gruel was behind her, with a perfect form, he sent her flying hundreds of kilometers away. Not only that, the punch should have rattled her inside even with all that armor. It was more surprising that she's still conscious with receiving that attack. Now it's just the two of us. He cracked his neck warming up for our bout. I grinned at him. Sorry, never agreed to that. I smiled as I pointed behind him. Turning around from my confidence, he saw his army decimated. Luminos and everyone prepared to fight him all at once. The best reinforcements are that insect and blonde, who I assume is also a hero. Those two are strong. Not as strong as me or De Gruel, but someone that can put a fight with Luminos. It took hours of non-stop fighting with casualties showing in our side. In fact, the insect who I found out has a name of Rizul died after taking a blow to save Granbel, the blonde hero. Later I'll find out that he's actually Hinata's mentor, but currently not important. Eventually we have him sprawled on the ground limbless but still very much alive. Can't let that happen. A fallen angel with 3 pairs of black wings appeared wielding 2 swords. Behind him are 2 fallen. One is a small blonde girl, and a red-haired woman. Sorry, not listening. I used Belzebuth on De Gruel. The 2 behind him tried to attack me. Luminos and Granbel blocked the attack for me. They, like me, don't want to fight De Gruel again. Especially Granbel, who had his friend died just to defeat the giant demon lord. Dino, what is the meaning of this? Do you also desire this land? Luminos shouted as she glared at his sleepy eyes. Dino, a demon lord, I guess. Now Luminos, I have orders to save De Gruel. I can't let him die. He disappeared before he even finishes his words. Also he's a friend. Appearing in front of me, who is halfway into devouring De Gruel, his swords were swung to decapitate me. Unfortunately I had absolute defense activated. Adding to that fact, I had Scorch magic fired where he was standing, forcing him to take a step back. As this happened, and that's all of him. I smirked, turning to Dino, who was between stunned and frowned, seeing his friend die without anything he can do. He sighed, turning away from us. Let's retreat for now, Gracia, Pico. With his words, Gracia and Pico followed him. There they go. I voiced out as I watched them leave. Should I have killed them? Maybe. I don't know how strong they were. But I think in terms of fight powers we were lacking. We were just fighting earlier. I think we deserve a break. Luminos sighed. Now I have to watch out for that lazy fallen too? This world's really turned to shit after you died. She turns to me. It's not my fault. I was very weak that time. I countered. I mean it. What could I have done any different anyway? What can you do to help me with Chloe? Luminos looked at me and sighed, gesturing me to follow her to her place. You too, Granbel, you need to rest after all of this. Granbel only nodded, and we all went to her castle at Lubelia's capital. I don't know much about what we can do for Chloe. She started as the 2 of us converse in a private room. All I know is that it started when Hinata died. After she died, Chloe glowed for a second and collapsed in the ground. Then as I was about to go to her, she began attacking me and those nearby. She explained in detail what she could remember of that day. Then I realized that the glow of her body signified the escape of her soul from her material body. I don't know where she is right now, but the Chloe that is fighting in front of your eyes is not her. If anything, it's like a separate entity or a different personality or soul that is using her body. So that's it? There is nothing I can do to help her? I laid my head on the table, holding my head with both hands. So Chloe is really gone. I stood from my seat. I was planning on returning to Eurazania. I just needed a final confirmation for my conscience. She nodded with a somber expression. She gritted her teeth and clenched her fist. Probably from not being able to do anything from the situation as well. As I was on my way to Eurazania, a large force of magicules are being thrown around up north. Chloe, I rushed towards that direction. Whether it was her or not isn't important right now. Arriving just in the right time, the battle between Chloe and a red-haired demon was reaching its decisive point and conclusion of the fight. Chloe, receiving a heavy injury in the stomach, fell in the ground, and as the demon approached to deal the finishing blow, I intervened. Blocking the attack costed me my sword. Even with all the barriers and the sword's own durability, it was useless against his power and weapon. Who are you? He tilted his head, his tone with slight amusement and intrigue at being able to stop his finishing blow. Ignoring him, I went to Chloe to heal her. Raphael-sensei. Unfortunately, the damage cannot be fixed. What do you mean? This isn't fair. Cannot be fixed, my ass. Can't you do something to keep her alive or whatever? Rimuru. San. She muttered as she stares at my face. Our eyes met. The once mindless and hollow gaze now had signs of sentience and intelligence in them. It's good, safe. Chloe, I'm here. I'll do something, don't worry, I'll save your life. I reassured her as I continued to analyze her injury and body structure. That's not a good call, I'll have you know. The demon spoke as he placed a sword near my neck. I released all of my magicule aura in the air. The combination of the amount that Velgrund and de Gruel have become my own. A true dragon and a demon lord combined. Shut up. After analysis, the entity inhabiting the body appears to be connected to the individual Chloe. They appear to have the unique skill time leapt that allows them to return back in time on a set date. It can be speculated that the original Chloe has time leapt, leaving this entity to fend for itself. Then Chloe's safe? That's good to hear. If this entity is part of Chloe, we should send it to her as well. Can you do something to make it time leapt as well? An east feed after further analysis, which would take less than 3 seconds in real-world time. Which coordinates and date would you have it returned to? The home of the spirits, in Rimuru Labyrinth. I and Chloe are both there. I should be able to do something about it. Or at the very least, it will help Chloe before this future happens. Understood. And with that, Chloe's body glowed again and fell limp into my arms. No signs of life of any kind was left. A corpse was the only thing that was left. I devoured her body for safekeeping until I could find a place to bury it. The demon kept watching me but never intervened even after I left. He only gave me a scanning gaze and an inquiring grin. Returning to Eurazania, I explained everything that happened to everyone from my people to Carrion and his group. Every one of them have varied reactions to my word. Diablo was the only one that has a clear expression of confidence that there can no other outcome be than that. Benimaru and the rest have shock expression and worry. Carrion was pumped hearing the story, and his group have shown immense fear and respect. It's the next day then. I would have expected to at least be manageable, not unsurprising. Yet here we are. Hearing the soldiers screaming about the start of the term's war and the invasion of angels have started. I wasn't ignorant of the Tenma War or the angels, so I had everyone be ready to help in fighting of the threat to the capital. And so, with a small army of my own, I helped with the invasion of the angels. If only it were merely angels we faced. HMPH, you must be the opponent Dino mentioned. A man with long black hair and 3 pairs of wings spoke with his arms crossed. He was accompanied by the 3 angels we had encountered before, along with a few more. Some were equally strong, possessing 3 pairs of wings, while the weaker ones, likely subordinates, had 2 pairs or fewer. Rimuru-sama, Benimaru turned to me with a determined expression. We'll handle the weaker ones. We probably won't be much help against the stronger ones, he admitted, pain evident in his eyes. And so, the battle began for me and my friends. Even I could not handle all the high-ranking angels alone, especially as my friends were being beaten and used to catch me off guard. As I planned to assist them, more reinforcements from the enemy's side arrived from the east of Eurazania. A large black fog. No, it was a large swarm of bugs, varying in size from large dogs to horses. Among them were strong humanoid insects that could pose a problem. Everyone, be careful. More enemies are coming, I shouted, just as I was tackled to the ground by one of the insectors. It was similar to Rizul from the west, an insect with an anthropomorphic body. I found myself surrounded by several strong foes, the original angels and the insect generals, while having to keep an eye on the life signs of my subordinates. Rimuru-sama, it's dangerous here. Retreat. Kufufufu, those pathetic insectors think they can harm my lord, Diablo said, standing in front of the insectors. Taking advantage of this opportunity, I quickly dealt with the lesser angels fighting my subordinates. Seeing them nod and retreat, I turned to Diablo. Diablo, retreat now, I shouted as I watched Diablo fight alone, with the other demons summoned having perished. The others have all escaped. Let's go. I was about to rush in to save him, but he turned to me with his usual demonic smile. I'm afraid I'll have to disobey my lord, he said, facing back and rushing to kill several insects. Please live, Rimuru-sama. I shall not let you die a second time on my watch. With his shout, the insector's attention was fully on him. Even with Diablo as bait, I had to be cautious with the original angels surrounding me. They didn't dare to attack my subordinates, knowing that any weakening of their forces would give me an opportunity to strike back. Not wanting to waste Diablo's sacrifice, I used Velgrund's cardinal acceleration to escape the area. I managed to escape, but that didn't mean I was safe. I had been fighting non-stop top-tier opponents, and eventually, my large reserve of energy would deplete. Luckily, only a fraction was consumed during the fight with the angels. It would have been more if the insectors had joined and the battle had continued. Rimuru. I saw Carrion waving at me as he flew towards me. It was good to see him safe, and the other Beastketeers seemed safe as well, according to my universal sense. I breathed a sigh of relief. Alert, danger incoming. Raphael's warning barely registered before I saw Carrion's head explode and a cloud of dark particles rushing toward me. Even with my speed and thought process, it managed to make contact with my arm. Danger. Consumption of Master's arm in progress. Defense and resistance not sufficient to block. Sacrificing arm and energy to escape. With those words, my arm detached from my body before the dark particles could spread further. Damn, Carrion is dead, and that leaves me with half my energy reserves. That thing can devour energy at a speed comparable to, or even better than, my Belzebuth. You managed to dodge that even with your guard down. The culprit, another insectar with 3 pairs of arms and an anthropomorphic build, taunted. No matter, you're reaching your end now. He started melee combat with me, terrifying with mouths on his palms, trying to eat me. Zelenus activated a distortion field around himself, creating a shimmering barrier that deflected my initial attacks. I swiftly dodged a dimensional ray fired from Zelenus, my barrier barely managing to absorb the blast. He charged forward, closing the distance and preparing for close-quarters combat. In close combat, Zelenus skillfully used his distortion field to absorb my rapid punches and kicks. My attacks landed intermittently as Zelenus countered with precise, powerful strikes of his own. A swift kick from Zelenus caught my side, making me grimace in pain, but I quickly recovered and pressed on. Zelenus capitalized on a momentary opening to fire a dimensional ray that grazed my shoulder, staggering me. He followed up with a flurry of rapid punches, pushing me back and testing my limits. Despite the injuries and exhaustion, I remained resolute, using my own barrier to shield myself and counterattack with a series of fierce, targeted blows. Eventually, both Zelenus and I were heavily injured, with outstretched arms. Belzebuth Devastator Virus. I got you. An original angel shouted as he tried to sneak attack me. Unfortunately, he appeared right in front of me, within range. Not understanding what happened, he disappeared as soon as he made contact with the fog of our combined attacks. Oof, I heard Dino and the other enemies appearing one after the other. Hey, Cornu died. That's why I said we should work together to defeat Rimuru, he said with an exasperated sigh. Damn. This might be the end. Zeloria raised his hand, sending a blinding beam of light straight at me. I quickly set up a barrier to deflect the beam, sending it into the ground. The earth scorched where it hit, showing its power. Before I could catch my breath, Zess charged at me like a freight train. I sidestepped just in time and countered with a burst of scorch magic, sending him skidding back with his armor scorched. Dino took advantage of my distraction, leaping into the air and coming down with a flurry of swift, slicing attacks with his 2 swords. I parried each strike with my conjured blade, our weapons clashing in a fast, deadly dance. I managed to land a solid kick to Dino's midsection, sending him flying backward. As Dino retreated, Peliod swooped in, her wings creating powerful gusts of wind. I countered with precise sword strikes, slicing the air around her wings and forcing her to land. She snarled, but I was already moving to my next target. Garcia and Pico joined in, their auras combining into a powerful surge of energy. Pico launched pinpoint thrusts, and I dodged and deflected with agility, but one thrust grazed my arm. Garcia followed up with a torrent of celestial flames. I met her flames with a wave of scorch magic, and the two collided, creating a huge explosion that sent shockwaves through the area. Garcia staggered back, her arm scorched. Obera, seeing the chance, gathered her energy and came down like a meteor, sword aimed right at me. I channeled my reserves, my aura flaring with intense blue light. When Obera struck, I met her blade with mine, creating a shockwave that shook the ground and formed a crater beneath us. The enemies started coordinating their attacks. Zeloria and Gracia attacked from a distance with beams and flames. Zess and Dino charged in sync, while Peliod and Pico flanked me. I tried to keep up, dodging beams and thrusts, parrying slashes, and blocking wind gusts. My movements were fast, but their combined assault left me little room to breathe. Despite my efforts, I started losing ground. Zaloria's beam grazed my leg, making me stumble. Zess landed a heavy blow, sending me sprawling. Peliad's wind gusts knocked me off balance, and Pico's thrust pierced my side. Breathing heavily, I struggled to stand. The combined force of the insect generals and angels overwhelmed me. My vision blurred, and my strength waned. Got you. Zelenus, who had been watching silently earlier, appeared before me. His fist filled with energy as he punched me in the stomach, forcing me into the ground, creating a large crater with cracks. Raphael, this seems to be the end for me. I'm about to die again. At least they're all safe, for now. Well, I feel like I've done my best. This isn't such a bad end. It's a pretty cool way to die, fighting all these monsters. As Zelenus prepared to fire his Devastator virus, my body began to move on its own. Huh? This is... Raphael? I'm sorry, Master. This is the only way. What? Then my body began to fend for itself, and I sensed through my connection that something bad was happening to my subordinates. Master, I am sorry. This is the only way for you to survive. I won't let you die because of my incompetence once more. I went pale. Oh no.